They share a meal together, and the Lord makes himself known in the breaking of the bread. They're sharing in communion with the Lord. The Lord's Supper, the Holy Eucharist, and he reveals himself through this meal. Now, some people think it's a bit of a stretch to call this Holy Communion. And I used to be in that camp when usually high church people would say that, or Roman Catholics would say, this is communion. I'd say, no, breaking of the bread is about fellowship, right? But I've changed my opinion on this. I want to make my case briefly for why this is Holy Communion. Look at verse 30 with me. When Jesus was at table with them, he took the bread and blessed and broke it and gave it to them. There are 4 verbs in that sentence. The Lord took, he blessed, he broke, he gave. Those exact same 4 verbs are used in the institution of the Lord's Supper 2 chapters earlier in chapter 22. The exact same 4 verbs are used in Matthew and Mark's telling of the institution of the Lord's Supper. Those exact 4 verbs are used in the words of our institution of communion you're going to hear in a few minutes. Listen for them. Those same 4 verbs are used when Jesus multiplies the loaves and fishes to feed 5,000, which is how we know that event was also a prefiguring of communion. He took, he blessed, he broke, and he gave. These are words that the gospel writers are using to signal to us Holy Communion, the Lord's Supper. These gospel writers were not ancient primitives. They were not idiots. They knew what they were doing, and they were brilliant writers. Even as they were inspired by the Holy Spirit, they knew exactly what they were doing as they used these words to signal something deeper. So Jesus is sharing in communion with his disciples on that first Easter Sunday. And I think we can fairly say that if the meal that was instituted on the Thursday before was called the Last Supper, I think this one can be called the First Supper. The First Supper of the new creation, the resurrection life of Jesus. And by it, their eyes were opened.